Now, this video is about creating a dashboard. I made another overview video that had kind of the result. The key, and I even mentioned this little thing in the other one, the key is going to be present some historic data for 2 different years. This should say second year of history. This is 1 year of history. And then we'll present some annual average, that's okay. And then we'll present this for different accounts. That's all very easy. It's all with the index function. And then we're supposed to imagine you meeting a person, and you want to look at this, and you want to put a budget in here, and you want to compare your budget with the actuals from the last years. And you want to be able to have a dashboard, oops, that just does that. I have to increase perhaps the thing. And you want to, more importantly, be able to just work through different accounts and do the same kind of thing. Okay? So how do we work through all of these issues? Come up with a good budget. Now, in the last video, I said, oh, we can make forecasts in a different way. I'm not going to kind of go through that this time. But what I am going to do is show you how you can make this spinner box change for different accounts. And I don't think that's easy. It requires a tiny bit of VBA to go along. Whoops. I might just a minute. We have to push this down. Okay. All right. I'm just messing around with it. I suppose this is what you're supposed to do with a budget request. Now let's walk through some of the steps. Okay. Some of these are not very clean, frankly, but the key thing is, how do we do this sort of analysis? Now, so step 1 is we had all this historic data. This is a lot with the sum if. You could have made this with a pivot table, okay? And you, excuse me. All right. Now, so we get the historic data. And then I put a row number in. Just put some row number, and I allow the row number to change from basically 12 to 18. So I'm going to select these different accounts. And when I select these different accounts, let's put this one in another thing we did, the, excuse me, a separate, I'm going to press Shift Control 7. We did a separate, so we can make 2 graphs, a kind of comparison analysis. This was a flexible scatter plot where you could take one account, whoops, excuse me, and compare that to a different account and see how they're related. Do some kind of, and do it in a really kind of flexible basis, so you can just go one account one by one, and this one by one. Okay, I'm sorry I had that little digression, but I'm getting to the point. So step 1 is to just put an index function. So we're just going to take, in this case, I said let's just take the row number. I clicked on the entire column and clicked on this row number. So if it's row number 15, we go to row 15, and we've taken knowledge work, whatever that is. Let's go to the next one, and let's take office management. So here's our number for office management, and then we have a forecast. We have 2 years of history in this case. Then I have this scatter plot, which I didn't really use right now, and then I made, let's put 2015 history, and then we'll make 2016 history, and then I said, well, let's take the annual. This is month by month. Okay, and this is 2000, and I don't have to say history because that's kind of obvious, I think, right? And then we do the same thing and say 2016 month by month. And here's what you do. You make a little switch somewhere at the top, and I made just a let's call it a 2015 switch. Un interrupteur en français. S-W-I-T-C-H. Okay, and we said, well, we just say, well, let's take the year of the date and make sure, and if that's, actually, we did something easier. Let's take this one and make it less than the last date up here. That's what we did here. So that's true, less than or equal to, excuse me. Okay, so we make a little switch, a timing switch. Extremely important idea in just about anything. And then once you've made the timing switch, you can take this number up here, this one. I'm even making it bold now. And you can say, okay, if that switch up here, if this switch is true, then we're going to take the index. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to just temporarily not show. Shift alternate right arrow to temporarily not show some of these. And let's temporarily not show some of the scatter plot things we did. Okay, so those are some of the key lines. We have the index and we have the switches. And this says, well, if it's true, put it in there. If it's not, just make it false. And then we have, here's what we do. We say, uh-oh, where's the year? I put the year of the date right here. And I said, well, average, let's take the average if. And this is the trick to the average if. You can say, take this entire range and then see if it's 2015, the entire range, and then just take the entire number from the index function, just like that. And what that does, Shift Control 1, Shift Control R, what that does is it gives you just a flat number for 2015 and it just changes that number for 2016. Okay, and then we can show that same kind of number just below here. Okay, I'm sorry, let me finish that. Why did I say that? This is the, excuse me, so this is what we'll show for the average. Now if we would make a graph here, just of this, Shift Control, now let me go all the way. F11, of course, to make a graph, and then I just change the chart series and make it a line or something like that, okay? All right, and you can then, we can compare, we look at the history, and now we're going to fill in the budget. Alt-E-L, let's get rid of this. Okay, now to fill in the budget, I'm going to put a plus sign here. We're going to just put some data in this. Now, when you use the spinner button, you can't put in millions. So we have to put this, and I'm going to say this goes to 10 million. And then I'm just going to take the number we have, we're going to put in. This is just fixed numbers for now. Doesn't matter what they are. This is our fixed number for the budget. And then we just multiply these by 1,000. So this will operate with the spinner button. For now, if I change the spinner button, I'm on office management. Office management down here, 1,300. Change this, and I put an increment of 500. So that's okay. I haven't told you the biggest trick of all, which is how to make sure that when you press the spinner button, if you change, that's the whole theme of this thing, I've got to restate it about 10 times, if you change this to corporate services, then of course this index changed because we changed, I perhaps didn't explain fully, but this little spinner box is just a row number, so this index function, this just changed. This is named the budget code. This really should be maybe the budget row number. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm kind of going back and forth, but we have the different possible budgets, and now all I did, which is really, really bad form, I know, we could put some sort of if state, some sort of switch in here, but I just said, well, let's take the index of all of our budget numbers. These are just input numbers. And I think, no, I got to click on the entire thing, press F4, and then put our budget code. Okay, and we press enter. So this just Shift Control R because I have this thing selected, and that just gives us that. What that does is it gives us, if we put a different budget code in here, maybe I should be probably having a freeze pane, shouldn't I? That's pretty stupid. Alt WFF, maybe not. I say of course. Why in the heck would you? Okay. So if I put, of course, no, this works. So if I change this to office management, there, the budget is 800. And if I change this to recorded time cost, so now I'm just going to make another graph, Alt WFF, let's take that away. Okay, and when we make this graph, where's my graph? Okay, we select this all the way down, include the budget, F11, and now I have this budget, and all I did, I think, was I said, okay, well, let's just make this one, not a format of data series. I'm tired, really. But I'm old too, and I'm stupid. And we put this one, and you click on this one and just make this area, okay? So then we can compare, we can that's the graph we made. All right, now I'm hoping you're not getting angry because the reason I've done all this is to introduce, you can say, oh, why didn't you show me that spinner button thing right away, you idiot, you wasted my time. Maybe I did. But to see why the spinner button is useful, we need to see really why it's used. So far, I'm going back to the dashboard, is we can change these things, and we're just making a graph and changing this area. But the question is, how do we get this spinner box to work with everything and to change everything? Now, let's just talk through it before we do it. And here's what you want to do. You want to have this number be inserted in these numbers. So this number, there's a range name. It's called budget number, I think. And this number has to go inside this number. Now, we can look over here. I had to do an intermediate thing. This is called account number. This is simply the match. And you match our final number from the index with this data, and then you put a 0 in there, okay? And that 6, that 8 means it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Portfolio managed is 8, so the cost of staff leave is 7. Okay, there's our 7, and that's named account number. And here's what you do. Here's what you would do with this account number. Okay, you would, let me think through this. What you would do is say, okay, let's go in this range name, which is, again, budget range. This is named budget range. And you can go to cells. You can go down to number 7, cost of staff leave, and put this spinner button down there in that range. That's the key. So you've got to name the range first, and then have a number in that range to point to. And so if we change this to 17, this changes to 6, and we put that in the number. Now, I suppose you could do one more thing, and I think I'll do this. You could change that and say, oh no, if I'm going now on unrecorded time, this started with 4,600, so maybe I should recalibrate this. But before we recalibrate it, okay, before we recalibrate it, can you, if to make this macro, I'm just going to open it and show it to you. I'm not going to redo it. You press assign, press edit. And I'm even going to, this I just called a spinner 7 change. What I'm going to do is just show you this in the, we'll show it to you twice since it's so important, I think. All right, this is how we do it, really. Where should I put this? I don't think you really care. I'm going to put it down here somewhere. Okay, and I'm also going to put it in this one because it's so important. I'm going to show you what it does. And this, now, this, oops, let me put it down here. Excuse me. So this row number, well, that's this account number. That we say row number is this account number. And then we say, well, take that range, that budget range, and go to cells and find the row number, 6, 7, 8, and put and say, well, that value and that value is equal to the budget number, and that budget number is just this number. So now when you change this budget number, it goes down, and as part of the VBA code, it just changes this number right here. And it works. And that's almost all you have to do. Let's look at it one more time just to make sure you have it. Go to assign macro, you go to edit, you say, okay, the row number, that's the account number, we defined that one. We said this is the key formula right here. It says take the budget range, look for the cell, and look for the row number, and it's only got one column because it's just a range with one column. And I don't even know if you have to put dot value, I do. And say that equals, and that's what's the result of the spinner button. So that's how you can get the spinner button to be really careful. And I had never done that before, and I think it's worth a video, I really do. Okay, and we can, now the only other thing to really do is if you change this thing here and make it cost of staff leave. Now what you really want to do is as soon as you click on this, it kind of doesn't start at the right place. It makes you kind of go back, which is not so bad, frankly. It's not really so bad, but we might want to calibrate this. So this number, when we change this kind of master list, our master budget list, when we change this number, oops, oh, no. When I change this number, I would like this number to change. And what we'll have to do, and let's just talk through this, you put another VBA code in here. And on this VBA code, you say, well, let's go over here and take the equal index again, tab. Let's select this area and then put a budget code in there. Uh-oh, and I did the wrong thing, sorry. I should have put this number in this account. Okay, so if we're on knowledge work, we should be really starting with this thing, and I'm going to name this range, and I'm going to call that, what should I call that? I don't have any idea what to call that. Let's put starting. Start number. Start. Why is it with a cap lock? Start. No. That's, so we're recalibrating the start number. And press Control F3 to make sure you kind of entered it appropriately. There's Elwa's name. Start num. Okay, and then what you do after you put the start number in is you want this fixed number to recalibrate each time you have the start number. So all you want to do is every time you change this one, you want to make this number, budget number, I think, is that what it's called? Budget number. You want to make the budget number equal to the start number. So you right click on this and you make another macro and you make it new, and all you do is you put range and you put budget number, I hope that's what we called it, equal range, and you put start number. Did I call it start number or start number? Oh God. Sorry about my memory and how bad I am. Start num, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. What in the heck is this now? Okay, and then I think start num. Okay, so now when let's see if it works. I should have tried this out really first. If we put corporate governance, then it recalibrates the start number from, and then we can go and change it after that. So this was called a drop-down box 3 changed. And we can change that, we can attach this macro. Oh, I can't. You have to, a drop-down box 3 change, and we press OK. So if we change it from here, we get the same thing. And then we better drop down 3 change. You remember that, I hope. And then you right-click and press that, assign macro, and put drop down 3 change to this. And then you right-click and do it here, and you put drop down 3 change again. And now, when we go and we change our cost of staff leave, now it's right calibrated for us, okay? So we need 2 kind of things, and I'm going to go ahead and remember what we did on this one. I would, I don't know if you'll watch the video ever, but, well, you might be watching it if you're still here. But, the other thing to do is just find this stuff. I hope you can find this stuff on the files. Okay, so those are kind of tricks to doing it. And I'm going to say au revoir from the Côte d'Ivoire. Wait 22 minutes. Au revoir.